Why no one speaks about Monero, the coin they fear the most. I've been in crypto long enough to notice one thing: there's one coin no one dares to talk about. Not influencers, not institutions, and not even the exchanges. And it's not because it's irrelevant, it is because it's too powerful. I'm talking about Monero, the one project that actually delivers what Bitcoin promised: true financial privacy. I lived my whole life in Germany, and one of the most regulated countries on earth, where the government now tracks every transaction over 1,000 euros. And now I live in Dubai, where crypto is embraced, but even here, the word privacy makes regulatories nervous. So ask yourself, why is the only truly private cryptocurrency being shadow banned from exchanges, delisted from major platforms, and ignored by 99.99% of the crypto YouTubers you follow? Because Monero doesn't fit into the system. They're building it. It's not trackable, it's not taxable, and it's not controllable. So the very first question we need to ask ourselves is, why does Monero keeps being delisted from exchanges even though thousands of meme coins are added every day? And the very first thing is low trading volume and poor liquidity, right? Very few people are trading this kind of token on the exchanges, and it makes little fees. So for the exchanges, it makes no real sense. But the second one now is very interesting, and that's regulatory and compliance risk. Crypto regulations is tightening globally. Exchanges are risk averse. If a token might be deemed a security or it doesn't meet local law, anti-money laundering, and so on, then it's a big red flag for them. And since it's 100% private, it obviously is. At the end, we also have to be very honest, as always in these videos. The token project failure of abandonment. If the project team stops updating codes, or the token doesn't deliver like a new roadmap or anything, then obviously they are also delisted. Security technical issues, if a token network gets attacked. And then strategic streamlining and cleaning up lists. Exchanges sometimes decide to just take it off. But for sure, here is number two, the most important one and number one, right? First one is low trading volume and poor liquidity. And then obviously, which we don't see too much, to be honest, that this coin is traded, because obviously it's not on exchanges. But regarding liquidity, but regulatory and compliance is definitely it, right? So they're hiding something. Now, the second question we need to ask ourselves is, if crypto was built for freedom, then why is privacy suddenly seen as a threat? And Monero stands exactly for that. It's the number one privacy coin. And the main reason is, at the end of the day, that everything needs to be transparent. The governments want trackable systems. They want systems where everyone is doxed, where everyone is KYC'd, where everyone is, having their passports and their addresses and everything registered, obviously, because of money laundering. That's what they say, right? At the end of the day, it kind of makes sense, but the government wants to control its government, govern your mind. And at the end of the day, KYC laws, data exploitation, and so on just doesn't allow it. And that's what they want to do, right? That's also especially why coins like Monero are so insanely valuable and so insanely demoralized by exchanges in crypto, or especially the new age of crypto, where it just has to be fast and low fees and very, very easy for us. And as soon as it's like, at the end of the day, kind of like hardly accessible, then no one wants to do it, right? But there's not only Monero, there's also Zcash and so on. But at the end of the day, it is and will forever stay the government's control over crypto, right? So yes, crypto was built for freedom, but they make them disappear if they threaten their sense of freedom, and that's seeing, KYCing, and controlling. Could Monero become the last real escape from total on-chain surveillance? And I'm truly sure that Monero becomes and is already the last escape from total on-chain surveillance. We have decentralized exchange with decentralized platforms and other coins you can buy, but Monero could be an entry into buying coins without being under surveillance and then actually moving it to an exchange. So yes, definitely Monero is the last escape from total on-chain surveillance. Now, how far will governments go to really ban coins like Monero, for example, that they can control? And they will do their best to demonetize them, to not talk about them, to keep them under control, to pressure their exchanges, because these exchanges are set in certain jurisdictions and governments, to not let them allow Monero becoming big. But the thing is, what I think is, Monero is not big. It's known under the geeks. It's unknown under the people that need to know about Monero. And that's where Monero is gonna stay. What is the real reason why influencers don't cover Monero, never speak about it? Are they feared of being blacklisted? And I'm not sure. We will see how this video does. I've never spoken about Monero myself, but I found it an insanely interesting cryptocurrency because it really is the last cryptocurrency, or one of them, that really stands for what crypto actually is, and all of them lost it, right? At the end of the day, if you want to be a public kid, that's what you need to do. That's how your project gets funding. That's how you get transactions. That's how your coin is going to be used, which makes total sense. But Monero, on the other side, is the kid on the street that no one talks about, but has the most power. So Monero always has been very interesting for me, and I started to dig deeper into it, and I haven't found anything about it. There's zero content about it in coverage in any newspapers, newsletters that are focused on crypto and money and finance, right? I'm not talking about generic publishing. So I think there's a plan behind it. It can't be that such a good project is not pushed, not spoken about, and no one cares about it. How will the rise of CBDCs and digital IDs make private coin like Monero more relevant than ever? I think once surveillance strikes harder on us as humans, once we introduce chips in our skin that hold our ID, hold our passport, driver's license, and everything else, and CBDCs come along controlling the whole monetary system because the West is failing because of its monetary system and they need to do something, and the only thing they can do is going back to the gold or silver standard or Bitcoin standard, or introduce CBDCs, and you know what they will do, CBDCs, because it's easier to control people with that. So Monero will become very relevant. So you should know now about Monero, do your own due diligence, check it out, and we will speak about in a second on charts of the potential that Monero has and how insanely well it has reacted now after the liquidation event, and that tells us something. And the bigger question is in a world where every transaction is monitored, and will privacy soon be illegal? And I truly think so, yeah, 100%. I mean, depending on where you live, but I gave you the example of Germany, where basically every 1,000 euro transaction, especially 10,000 euro and above, is tracked. America the same. If you receive or send crypto in America that is 10,000 US dollars above, you need to register it with the IRS. So yes, they will continue to surveil it, but there will be opportunities. And to speak about how I am positioned in Monero, we're gonna switch onto the chart. And as you can see, Monero started somewhere in 2014, was very, very low, obviously started to make its first all-time high here around December 2017, 1st of December, sitting at 469 US dollars. That had a very big correction, 90%, came up again close to its all-time high, got sold off very heavily by traders, smart money whatsoever. But right now, what is the target for Monero, and what is the recent price move telling us about this project, whether most people would maybe think this coin is completely dead? The interesting thing, it's the direct opposite, and you see that by the insane liquidity we had coming in over the last couple of days. But the first thing we need to do is identify here where our target lies. And I made a video about that, explicitly explaining how I 90% of the times enter and leave the market in a perfect point. So that's what we're using here, the NXT system with Fibonacci extensions and Elliott waves. And so far we are in a new wave that is building up from here. And this wave comes from a re-entry somewhere down here where we reacted at the 0.86 and 822 Fibonacci level, which is most of the times a Fib level and the third opportunity for a coin to react, and we 2 times reacted out of this one, as you can see. Now, since we came from this correction low up to the high, we made 221%, and just recently after the liquidation event, if we now go into the daily chart, we can see here the liquidation sell-off that we had. It's an insane price action, right? There's no big wicks, no big sell-offs, even though most of crypto got liquidated, and that's obviously because Monero is just not traded as much as the others. But since we had this liquidation event, right, we have here the low on August 25, and then we have the liquidation event over here with a small wick, yes, but from the wick until now, we're already up again 27%, and that makes Monero one of the best performer compared to all of these coins that are sitting here. The only one that I remember right now that had a similar push out is HBAR today, right? HBAR went up 25% since we entered. We are currently sitting in the trade. We are also sitting in a trade with Monero. This is my current trade, and as you can see, Monero is highly in profit, because since I started to research about Monero and I started to enter in spot, right, building these positions up because I think it's an insane project, I'm currently sitting at 28%. Again, only one coin that I remember that had such a performance today was HBAR, right? Which we also entered and already moved our stop loss and reduced it. Was 18% in total, 26% push, right? No other coin did that. And this is a list of the most traded coins sitting over here, and Monero just quietly outperforms them completely. So there is a reason why we need to speak about Monero. But now the main question is, where are we going with Monero? What is the plan? And if we look at it again, Monero has an active bullish sequence, and we're going to switch into the monthly chart for that again. Monero has an active bullish sequence that has its target sitting at 780. So far, we are 130% away from that. Is there a reason why Monero would not do that? No. Is there a reason why Monero is not going to be an interesting coin in the future once our privacy diminishes in chips in our implanted hands, or implants in our hands in that sense, right? No. So it is a good play and a very strong liquidity and very much interest, as you can see, was reflected over here in the last correction. And that's something that is very interesting for me. Why? Because it shows that people are interested in whales, big wallets, smart money wallets are buying it. And that's why I am interested in it, because I follow smart money. They call Monero the criminal's coin. But here's the truth. It is the freedom coin. The only one that still protects your right to own and move money without permission. Every other blockchain is becoming traceable, regulated, and centralized. And one day soon, your wallet will be connected to your ID, your credit score, and your tax profile. When that happens, Monero might be the only financial sovereignty we have left. So ask yourself, are you building wealth that's free or wealth that's traceable? If you care about freedom, hit subscribe right now, because no one else is going to talk about this. And the less they talk, the more important it becomes.